What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com. And fun fact, this is the second time I'm recording this morning. No audio on the first draft, but these are my NBA DFS contenders, my favorites, my top 5 plays for today's slate on Thursday, September 3rd. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. And let me know in the comments section, who is your number 1 contender for today's slate? Marcus Morris, Kyle Lowry, Jeremy Grant, Time Lord. These 4 guys are at the bottom of the top 10. Fred VanVleet is on the outside looking in. Who will be my top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. Alrighty, coming in at number 5, we've got Jaylen Brown. Now, he is number 3 on FanDuel, number 10 on DraftKings. But on DK, with the guard forward eligibility, on a 2-game slate, he becomes a bit of a Swiss Army knife. You can use him pretty much everywhere. I think that makes up for the slightly higher price tag. I think he's going to play monster minutes. I see no reason that he wouldn't. The Raptors are going to go, I assume, pretty heavy onto their core guys, and Jaylen Brown is going to be right there for the Celtics. I'm giving him 39 minutes right now. That's 24% usage, 21 points, 7 boards. You know, you'll probably get like a steal and a block, maybe 2 steals and a block. Love that baseline. He's been a 0.96 fantasy point per minute guy over the last 30 days. I'm actually projecting him at 0.9, which is fine by me because that still puts him as my number 3 play on FanDuel. We're talking about needing just over 40 fantasy points to hit a GPP goal. I think that looks great. 46 on DK. I don't think that is outlandish. If he hits either one of those numbers, you can almost guarantee he will be in the optimal lineup. I'm just loving Jaylen Brown here. I love his game. I think this is a great spot. I'm sort of betting on the Celtics to go up 3-0 here. And if that's the case, I think they can do it on the back of Jaylen Brown. But are there more Celtics to come? For now, we're on number 4. We're heading to Toronto. Give me OG Anunoby. 7th on FanDuel, 4th on DK. Low 5s price tag on both sites. He's going to play big minutes. They have to. They're down 2-0. Anunoby is key for what they want to do defensively. He's been passable as a shooter. He's a 0.75 fantasy point per minute guy. That's sort of where I have him projected. But the real key here is if OG Anunoby gets to 31, 32 fantasy points, he's going to be pretty likely to be in an optimal lineup. I love him in this spot. They're going to rely on him. 35 minutes is a big number. The only downside is the fact that he's a low usage guy. So the performance becomes a little bit more variant. I'm okay with that in a large field GPP. 11 points, 6 boards, 2.3 stocks. That's the number we're going to need to see rise. If he's a little bit more active from a steals and blocks perspective, 1, I think that greatly benefits Toronto. But 2, it greatly benefits OG Anunoby from a DFS perspective. I love him on both sites. I see no reason to get away from him. I've been playing him a lot in DFS. Just makes a lot work positionally. So, OG Anunoby, number 4. Next up, number 3, the guy that's most likely to give me a heart attack tonight, Marcus Smart. If you had him 2 days ago, you were probably not feeling all that great early and then going absolutely bananas in the 4th quarter. He is my number 1 play on FanDuel today at 5,700. Number 13 on DraftKings, which isn't really all that great shakes on a 2-gamer, but he's still super playable. You're looking for 35 on FanDuel. He's going to play big minutes. They have no other choice. They're up 2-0, and the Raptors are going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at them. Marcus Smart is the type of guy you want out there. 13, 5, and 4 as a base projection. This is a guy that I have projected for 2 steals, which I think is really important. As that number rises, particularly on FanDuel where they're worth the extra point, that becomes massive for someone like Marcus Smart. You know exactly what you're getting here. He strikes me as someone that's going to be very boom bust. But if that stroke is falling, and he is such a spark plug and piece of energy for the Celtics that when he gets going, I really think he picks up the momentum. I'm hoping he can get going early, and that's why Marcus Smart is number 3. Now, next up, number 2, Ivica Zubac. And I'm going to stop just briefly to change that picture. See, it's like you guys didn't even know that it happened. 4,900 on FanDuel, 4,800 on DraftKings, where Zubac is my number 1 play for today on DK. On FanDuel, it's a little different just because you could either pay all the way up for Jokic or you have to try to guess the next center in the low tier. I would bet on Zubac in that scenario, but I see ways that it could go differently. Either way, I'm projecting him for 26 minutes. I think they're going to need him a little bit more in this series than they did in the previous series to deal with the size of Nikola Jokic. Now, it's possible that they do sort of the opposite and go ultra small, trying to pull Jokic out and make him guard on the perimeter. For now, I'm betting on Zubac, so that's why I'm giving him 26 minutes. He's a fantasy point per minute guy. He's been even better than that over the last 30 days, but even at that baseline, we're talking about a guy projected for 10 and 9. This is the kind of guy I want to bet on because the floor is so high. We only need 30 fantasy points from Zubac. I'm already projecting him at 26. I think it's very likely that Zubac ends up in an optimal lineup on DraftKings. That is why he ranks number 1 for me. Of all the people on this slate on DK, I think Zubac is the guy that I'm going to have the most. I'm curious to see where the ownership goes because of his ability to only play center, but at 4,900 on FanDuel, which I still love, and 4,800 on DK, there's no way that I can get away from him. Before we get to number 1, one last call. Hit that thumbs up. It really does help me out a ton. And again, let me know who your number 1 contender is. But my number 1 contender, as you can see on the screen, and spoiler alert, his picture was up at the beginning of the video. Video is the word I'm looking for. Daniel Theis. Number 2 on FanDuel at 5,400. Power forward. Number 3 on DK, where you get the forward center eligibility, 5,300 there. They're trying to play him bigger minutes. The fouls have been a little bit of an issue. I'm giving him 29 minutes, but I think it's more likely that that number goes higher than lower, barring any foul trouble injury stuff. 10 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, just shy of a fantasy point per minute rate. I have no ambiguity in whether or not Theis is going to play a ton. They want him to be out there. He fits this perfectly. 33, 34 point GPP goal looks fantastic for him. If he does that, you're definitely going to want him. And I expect the shooting stroke to come back a little bit. Wasn't really involved offensively in game 2 after a really nice game 1. I think it swings back the other way, and that's why you're seeing Daniel Theis as my number 1 play. It's not going to get much better than this one. This price tag is fantastic. There isn't a ton of value out there. I think that lends to a more balanced build. But whether you're going balanced or trying to do a more stars and scrubs feel, Daniel Theis is the guy you want. Alrighty, guys, that wraps up the NBA DFS contenders, my favorites for Thursday, September 3rd. Now, as you can see, there's no Kawhi Leonard, no Paul George, there's no Jamal Murray, there's no Nikola Jokic split out to that left-hand side. And that's intentional. I want to rotate through those guys. I think it's more important to try to nail aggressively the value plays for today. And then I can shoot a scattered shot across all of the other studs. I think that's a better likelihood for me on a slate like this. So, thank you guys for joining me. Best of luck tonight. I will see you again tomorrow morning.